well, I mean, obviously the backline reshuffles required because of Eve's injury. That's fairly self-explanatory. Just the back row, obviously not cheap for Kutsia, but why Visa this week?
So why Visa? Listen, he was very good for under-21s last week. We know his potential, and we just felt, that one of the big threats, which we're quite aware of, is the Sharks pack getting momentum. We talked a lot about the Dupree brothers and that sort of thing, and he's got very serious, significant stopping power. And we asked him a couple of things. We needed him to work on his game, which he did last week. So I've got no doubt this is going to be a big player in the South African landscape over the next 4 or 5 years. So it's a great opportunity for him.
John, just in midfield with John Dobson and now at 13, sorry, was that, with regards to concerns you had last time of how you win at 13, or was it just trying something out?
Well, just the way, it's a good question. The serendipity last week was that when Evie went off, Ruan went to 13 was outstanding. So it's that simple. And, our big concern sometimes has been defending at 13. I think we saw how well Ruan defended at 13 last week. And Hugh, I think you're alluding to one, I particularly enjoyed it at last time at 13. So it's worked out well for us. Yeah.
So interesting move to, obviously you could have brought Werner into the team and kept Dylan at 15. What swung it in Damien's favour?
A few things is, at one stage, to be honest, even looked like it was going to be raining a lot there, but we wear the kicking game and we think they're going to come with a pretty big kicking game, both contestable and distance. So having the extra fullback on is useful. And then we thought that, having reanalyzed the game in Durban a few weeks ago, Damien returned the ball very well. And we also want to play to a degree. We want to play in the right, we want to play territory as well, because I think in a final, if you play in your half with a kicker like Kerwin Bosch, you have to be, you're going to be under pressure. So it gives us a greater kicking options. And Dylan, to be fair to him, was very positive about it. So I think it was a case of wanting to try and get our best players on the field this week.
And then with Wilco Louw at target, are you going to try and keep him on for as long as possible? Because there's no altitude distance.
Wilco's playing deep. He's a big diesel, So. A couple of years ago, he hadn't played 60 minutes in school. He hadn't played 60 minutes in school. And now, we've played him a couple of 80 minutes this game. So I was very pleased with Frans van Wyk up at Loftus, but our plan is to play Wilco quite deep.
Do you lose a bit with last week, the impact
Yeah. I think that's a good question. It's a good point, because our bench, there's some really good players on it, but last week we had amazing impact when, with Damien and Ruan, and Ruan was already on, but moving into centre. Look, we could have forced Jaco Kutsia or waited longer for him, but I felt that Notchi was so good when he came on last week, he deserved the opportunity, and I'm not sure of the wisdom with an injury like concussion of putting a guy who's under 21 into a Currie Cup final. So we made a proactive call there, for his well-being, but also based on Notchi's performance. And I think, he started our first game against the Cheetahs and hasn't had another start. And I think we'll get rewarded for our faith in him, because he's a really exciting player. And there's this paradigm about Notchi sometimes that he's a flash player, but he's a very, very physical flank as well, as we saw last week. So I'm quite excited about that, I must say.
Also, just the amount of pressure you can maybe put on a guy like Kerwin Bosch.
Yeah, because his pace, yeah, he's fast, yeah.
And not having that impact on the bench, if you look at the previous game against the Sharks, the first 30 minutes they were a bit on top. So if you start off well, they don't have to.
Yeah, listen, we're starting with the best team we think we can put out. Listen, there's still a quite serious impact if one looks at Janu and Werner especially. They're real classic impact players. So hopefully we're still going to finish strong. I mean, Ali from Mark was outstanding last week when he came on as well. So it's good.
John, just a word on Kerwin Bosch. You mentioned his kicking, but his drop kicking, does that kind of factor to the way you guys are thinking? Does it put more emphasis on the territorial game? You don't want to get close to those posts?
Yeah, I mean, territory, and I'd love to say and be romantic, but territory is going to be important. But we have got we're also aware of the drop threat if the game's very tight. So we've got a couple of plans around that. But in the overall picture of the game, territory is important. unfortunately. But we've also got a plan around if he's going for a match-winning drop as well. I mean, I've got no doubt that if our discipline is like it was last week in terms of conceding those penalties, that we're unlikely to win the Currie Cup, both from a point of view of Currie kicking kicks over, or us defending mauls in our 22.
I know as a coach you would want to stay away from emotional stuff, like the questions we asked you last week about your class going to play against family members this weekend. Do you guys ever talk about these things? Or do you want us to talk about things like that? About your class going to play against family members this weekend?
Yeah. I'm not sure what's going on in the Dupree WhatsApp group. There is one. I know there is one. And I'm not sure what's being said on that. But very, very funny. But there's, without trying to play cliches, they're playing, the Sharks have topped the log, are playing at home, and that is significant pressure, on the whole lot. So we, honestly, as a sit here, we're not feeling massive pressure, not from any sort of subplots or from the union or anything like that. We're just going there to go and do our best. I don't want Rob, having said that, Percy, I don't want Rob to feel like he's got a point to prove or win it by himself or anything like that. All I want is a copy paste from 2 weeks ago in terms of his performance. He's no doubt he took the ball, he took Kerwin on, and he took the ball to the line nicely, and his territory was great, and that's all we want from him. I don't want him to try and go and win the Currie Cup single-handedly or have a family feud out there.
Can I ask you, this is a very general question now. Despite you saying there's not a lot of pressure, or you guys are not under much pressure to go into the final, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity for many of your players. You mentioned this in the build-up to last week as well. What is needed from this Western Province side to go to Durban and maybe come back with a silverware?
I'm convinced it's about one thing, and that is, is stopping their momentum, and is to put them under pressure. I can see a picture of how we can win the game, and I see a picture of how we can lose it. And the way we're losing it is if we letting some of those big ball carriers in their pack run on us, get their offloads away, dominate us there physically. That is how they'll beat us. If we're stopping that and deprive them of momentum, that front foot ball that they need, that they thrive on, then we're in the game. So to me, it's that simple. It's our intensity and contact that'll determine if we're successful or not.
Is something emotional that you would want to get out of this match?
Something emotional?
Is there some attachment to this final that you would want to get out of this match, or is this a team effort now?
Yeah, you've answered. I think that I've done the Currie Cup team for 3 years now, and it's probably the tightest group I've worked with. They were disappointed with some of the league results, but they are absolutely desperate to win the cup. And the one thing I've got that I'm not worried about for 1 second is whether our team turn up and whether they're in the right mental state or anything like that. They're spot on. It's going to come down to the physicality, and then there are always the nuances of any game of rugby where a ball that bounces this way or a decision or something like that. So, but as emotion, this group are absolutely excited, in tune, keen on the game, very happy.
Is that photo there in the award? Is that some kind of reminder of what you guys are playing for this weekend?
First, there's some interesting photos around these halls.
I was specifically talking about the one.
They do Alistair with the. Yeah, that's just again serendipity. That's just chance, but it is. When the guys we talked a little bit about this week about just as a complete offbeat thing about Tom van Vollenhoven, who was honoured having played his last game for the Bulls 62 years ago, and only played about 15 or 16 games, and probably half that in tests. But he scored 392 tries in 401 games. I could be wrong by a couple for St Helens. He was probably one of the greatest rugby league players in Britain of all time. And his greatest memory was the Currie Cup Final, because he only played one. And so there's some great Springboks who never play a Currie Cup Final, and that message we have got across to our players. But not in a pressured way, just to appreciate the experience. From enjoying it now to when people wish them good luck at the airport tomorrow, they must really enjoy it. And I think it's great for the tournament, or the developments of the last few weeks and the interest and everything like that, because it's a unique event in world rugby, and and hopefully it's going to be a great occasion. And I think what the Sharks are doing by saying fill the tank and everything, that's great for the occasion as well. We're going to empty it.
Sorry,
Is that correct?
guys like John Dobson and Skalkberg never won a Currie Cup, so
No, exactly.
it's a great opportunity.
Exactly. Yeah, we don't go. Yeah, trying to get them to enjoy it from that point of view and realise the opportunity, just that, but not to put them under pressure. They're a nice bunch.
There's an interesting stat at the side beating the Sharks, or in Province beat the Sharks here, the reverse happened in the finals for the last 10 years, I think. So I said they have to change this stuff. That's. We're very well aware of that stat. We had a horrible experience in 2013 when we were unbeaten, I think, and they came and they won quite convincingly. I suppose it's lies, damn lies. Jaco Paper, I think the away team always wins his finals, or what, 2 of his 6 of his finals, the away teams won. So I asked him not to correct it this week, But honestly, I genuinely say it. I don't think don't feel that pressure. If we were playing this game and Newlands having topped the log, then I'd say we'd be under significant pressure. What we aren't doing is interpreting too much into the result of 2 weeks ago, because, as I say, and you can say whatever you like, they didn't need to win that game, and we needed to win the game. So we can only take technical points out of that game. We can't take psychological or emotional points out of that game.
You mentioned Rob running at Currie in the last meeting. Is that something maybe targeting again?
No, unfortunately, I'm more talking about Rob playing a flatter game, taking the ball to the line because he's a nice Big 10, trying to isolate 8 defenders hard because they vary their pattern of how they defend, and it's not as cliched as that. Unfortunately, it's not as cliched as that. But I do want us, with Ruan and Rob to really to attack the line, because I think it gives us momentum. But there's nothing personal about trying to attack Kerwin, because I say they vary their setups, and we can't always get who we want on who we want.
But you've got an interesting with this selection. What can happen is that you've got Damien, you've got Dylan, who can also come into that channel and play a completely different type of or present something different completely. Yeah,
that's something we've worked quite hard on. Is Damien, because he is a 10, and I'm sure he's. A couple of weeks ago, I was convinced. I mean, his future's a 10, but he comes in at that first receiver role. You're right, Dylan can do the same thing. So if you attack a midfield, hit towards the post, and you bring it back and have one of them at first receiver, it's quite exciting because they're such good decision makers and they're good steppers. So, go back to the first question of the thing about the backs. I just thought it was important to have all 3 of those guys on the field. It wasn't something, to be honest, I wasn't sure of 4 or 5 weeks ago, but I think we'd all agree that Rob Dupree has been outstanding since he got the opportunity. So having all 3 on is great.